Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to Turning Purpose into Profit. That's what we're going to be talking about today.
One of our favorite words, profit.
Yeah, forget purpose, right? It's just all about profit. No, actually, it is turning purpose into profit. And we're going to explain to you why we're doing this topic today, why it's so very important. And we have three amazing guests. So let's start out with just some very cursory introductions. For those of you who don't know us, I'm Tanya Eberhard. I'm the founder of BrandFace. Today, we're going to talk about turning your purpose into profit. And we have three exceptional guests that are going to be sharing some top tips with you today. And I encourage you guys, take notes because we've invited them for their own purpose and expertise, and you're going to love them. The first order of business, though, is to thank our sponsor, the Hounds of Business community. The Hounds of Business was founded by Mike Asherbranner, and a great friend and also a BrandFace client. And just so you guys know who the Hounds are, they're an amazing network of high-level professionals who respect, support, and inspire each other every single day. We've been part of it for since last March or April?
Almost a year now.
We love them. We love them.
Love
so,
the Hound.
hey, and if you're a hound right now, drop the word hound in the comments so we know who you are, right?
Yes.
Also, let us know which country or city and state in the U.S. that you're joining from. Okay, we would love to hear from you, and thank you for joining us today.
Yes, I'm Michael Carr. I'm the COO of BrandFace. I was actually a client of BrandFace before I became the COO of the company. I was lucky enough that Tanya asked me to join. And the reason why we want to talk about this topic and why it's so important today is when we all dream of having our own business, right? It's a great dream. We start with purpose most of the time. Like, how can I put my purpose out there to help other people? And that it drives us to enjoy what we do every day. However, over the last decade, Tanya and I have been working with people. We found, and we've met a lot of experts from all over the world in all kinds of different genres of business that they're not making any money. And they're like, hey, I need to be able to make a profit too, because profitability is not a bad word. It's a great word, right? And the more profitable we are, the more we can help those people, which is serving our purpose, right? A purposeful business you've always dreamed about is not profitable. It's going to directly impact the number of people that you can help. And so just like an oxygen mask, Tanya wrote this and I love it. Just like that oxygen mask at 30,000 feet, there's a reason the flight attendant tells you, instructs you to put yours on first, right? It's because if you go down, you can't help the people around you, right? I like the one where the flight attendant said, look, if you're traveling with kids, put your own mask on first and then choose your favorite and work your way down. Right. But it's very important that we help ourselves first and get into that alignment. And we're going to introduce you to some killer speakers today that are going to help you do that.
Yeah. So with that in mind, let's begin those introductions. And hey, feel free to drop questions as we go throughout this. And we have somebody collecting your questions. And at the end, we're going to come back to you and we're going to do a quick Q&A. So when you list a question out for somebody, name the speaker that you'd like to answer that question, if you would. Okay. So let's bring them on stage now. They're all great friends, incredible, uplifting people. First is Peter George. Peter is the founder of Peter George Public Speaking and the author of the 6-time award-winning book, The Captivating Speaker. Nice to have you, Peter.
It's great to be here.
Well, good. We'll get to the quick intros here in just a moment, but next I'm going to introduce Rebecca Whitman, and she's known as the Magnetic Abundance Mentor. She's also a client of ours and has recently been named as one of the top 5 entrepreneurs to watch out for in 2024 by USA Today.
That's right. Congratulations.
Yes. And last but not least is Mark Sefton. We've known Mark for a few years now.
Long time friend.
He's known as the personal mentor to entrepreneurs, host of Brains Magazine podcast, and contributing author at entrepreneur.com. And he's also the author of 3 books on personal development. Okay.
Welcome, guys.
So let's do some super quick intros here. Okay. For each of you, I'll start with Peter, then Rebecca, then Mark. Share where you're from. Tell everybody how long you have been doing what you're doing, sharing your purpose with the world, right? And then what you're going to be sharing with us today. Just a little hint.
Well, I'm up here in Rhode Island, and right now we're having a nor'easter. Heavy snows, winds at about 50 miles per hour. So if I'm suddenly gone, you know why. People all
Okay.
around me have power, so we may at any moment. So I apologize in advance should I be gone. For more than 30 years, about 37 actually, I've been a speaker, and about half of that I've been a speaking coach. And recently, as Tanya mentioned, I became an award-winning author for my book. And I help experts such as yourselves master the art of public speaking so you can increase your impact, influence, and income. And today, you're going to learn how you can use three things when it comes to public speaking so you can help more people, make more money.
I love it. Right on time. Rebecca?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Tanya and Michael, for inviting me, and Brand Face for helping me with my brand. My name is Rebecca Whitman, and I am passionate about empowering women and men to go from burned out and overwhelmed to balanced, beautiful, and abundant. My coaching career started in 2018 when I wrote a book called How to Make a Six-Figure Income Working Part-Time. And that led to group coaching, one-on-one coaching. I'm leading my second international retreat in the fall in Belize. And I'm so excited to be here and give you some great tips on how to prevent burnout.
All right.
Boy, don't we need that, especially Michael over here. Mark?
Well, it's great to be here. As you can probably tell from my accent, I'm from the UK. I'm in a place called Royal Leamington Spa. The beauty of having a British accent is even if what I say is a load of rubbish, normally the accent gets me through. I've been doing what I've been doing for about 12 years. And when we were asked by the guys at Brand Face to share, I'm very much about purpose. And my talk today and what I really want to share is really around self-leadership. It's your ability to lead self. I've been helping people for 12 years uncover who they are, their mission, and also really helping people get the visibility that they deserve and need in order for their message to really impact as many people as possible. So I'm really excited to be here, and it's a pleasure and honor.
We're glad you're here.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to break out into one speaker at a time, and Peter George is going to go first. So I'm going to have the rest of us exit the screen here, and hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much. All right, here we go.
So how do you help more people and make money doing it? As Tanya said, we often go into business to help people, but we find out pretty quickly that old saying about, well, I really don't care about the money. I just want to be here for my purpose. That's all well and good until the first bills start to come in. And then you have to pay those. And it's always better to make more money, not only to pay the bills, but so you can help more people. Not making money can be very, very stressful. So what's one of the better ways that you can attract more clients? I'm a firm believer in attracting clients as opposed to going out and searching for them, hunting for them. If you can have them coming to you, that's awesome. And one of those ways is to become a recognized expert. Think if you need someone, say a doctor, for a specific reason. Recently, I had open heart surgery to repair a valve. I didn't go to a general practitioner. I went to an aortic valve specialist. All he dealt with or deals with is aortic valves. That's it. That's the person I wanted operating on me. So become a perceived expert. But how do you do that? One of the ways, write a book. Awesome way. Another way is to speak. And like I said, I've been speaking on stages, more than 50 countries for about 37 years now. It's a tremendous way to have people recognize you as the expert. And some of those people raise their hand and say, I want to work with you. If not literally, at least figuratively. They raise their hand and say, that's the person I want to work with. So when you speak, think of it as, well, who's your favorite musician? when you first heard that musician, whether it was on the radio, a CD, streaming, wherever it was, you said, I like them. If I can, I'll go to their concert. If I want more music of theirs, I'll buy it. You raised your hand and said, that's the person I want to give my attention to, money to, and I get something in return that I like. It's the same thing when you speak. But you can't just get up on stage or in the front of a room or wherever it may be and just start speaking. A lot of people say, hey, I've got the knowledge. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a story. I was at a conference once, and early in the morning, we're getting coffee, and a guy next to me looks at me and says, I don't need you. I said, excuse me? He said, I don't need you. And I said, you have me at a loss. I'm not sure what you're talking about. He said, I see on your badge you're a public speaking coach. I said, I am. He said, I don't need you. I have no problem getting up in front of people and talking and saying what I know. And that's not all it takes. And he was mistaken. He may not need me, but he should get help, even if it's just reading a book or whatever it may be. And the reason is the Japanese have a word when you know what you want to say and you have the guts to get up in front of people and do it. You know what that word is? Karaoke. Think about it. You get up there, you sing the words, you've got the guts to get up there. And usually, unless you're a really good singer, unless your audience has had 3 beers and a shot, it's not all that great an experience. And it can be the same with us. So don't get up there and just spout out your knowledge. Learn to communicate with people both on the conscious and unconscious levels. It's got to be on both. And one of the ways you do that is to recognize that it's not about you. Right? We get up on stage, they put the spotlight on us. It's like, wow, this is about me. I'm awesome. I'm up here. Everybody's looking at me. I'm just fantastic. Well, there was one person in the world who would come and see me speak because it was me. And that was my mother. And she's passed away. So now I have no one. My wife won't even come to see me speak anymore because she's seen me speak way too many times. So I've got no one who will come just because it's me. People come to hear you speak for what they get from you, what they get from that experience. And that's what you want to remember. You may have noticed that when I introduced myself, I didn't say, I'm going to talk about this. I said, you are going to learn. It's not about me. It's about you. So keep that in mind. And that helps in another way. It helps take the onus off of you. It takes some of that weight off your shoulders because you know you're serving them. And do you have to be perfect when you serve your audience? No, you really don't. Think of it this way. If you were drowning and I threw you a life ring over the side of the boat or off the dock for you to grab onto and keep you afloat, would you care about my form if I was absolutely perfect in throwing it to you? No, you just care that you got it. So don't think you have to be perfect to be up there and speak in front of others. Just go up there and help them. It's not about your knowledge. It's not about you. It's about what they take away. So keep this line in mind. First of all, it's not about you. It's all about the audience. And then especially this one. Don't speak to inform. That's what we do. Let me tell you another thing. Here's another thing I know. Here's another thing I know. Don't speak to inform. Speak to transform. Whether you're in a meeting at work, whether you're at a small conference and you're in a ballroom or a breakout room, or whether you're up on stage in front of 3,000 people, if those people don't leave differently than how they came in, if they don't think differently, if they don't have something to do now that'll make a difference in their lives, whether it's personal, professional, or whatever, if they aren't transformed in some way, then why did this even take place? Got to transform people. You've got to make a difference in their lives, whichever way that may be. So when you transform people, think about what's in it for them. So long before you speak, who are you speaking to? It makes a difference. I know when I speak to a corporation, if I'm speaking to IT people, it's a different talk with different examples, different stories, and a different takeaway than if I'm speaking to marketing people. Two different purposes, two different ways of thinking. So one, know who you're speaking to. Know what they need to get out of it. Many times when we speak, we're told this is what people need to take away, but also think about what they want to take away. Those might be in two entirely different things, and you want to know that because that's how you're going to make that very specific difference in their lives. So these are the three things you have today from me. Speaking is a great way to exhibit your expertise. And when you're considered an expert, many people will select you to be the one they work with. Just like many people go to Tanya and Michael and Brandface. They recognize they're experts and they select them. Make it about the audience, not about you. And speak not to inform, but to transform. You keep those three things in mind, and you will be attracting more people, serving your purpose and theirs, and making more profit.
I love it, Peter. And attracting the right people. That's
Yes.
it. That's a huge thing, attracting the right people. And the quote of the day so far is don't speak to inform, speak to transform.
I love that.
I do too. I do too. Thank you so much, Peter. We'll come back to you in just a few minutes, and we'll come back for a Q&A for everybody here in just a few minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Next up is the lovely Rebecca Whitman. Rebecca, take it away.
All right. It's great to be here this morning. So I am going to talk about burnout. And what I teach in my coaching program is that you can go from burned out to balanced, beautiful, and abundant by getting all 7 key areas of life in alignment, which I call my 7 pillars of abundance. They are spirituality, fitness, emotions, romance, mental, social, and financial. Most people are hyper-focused on one. They're a workaholic and they have no time for a relationship, or they're so addicted to their workout and their fitness, they don't have time to work and they can't pay their bills, or they are just very connected to the divine and they don't know how to earn money. So what I like to teach is that you can have all 7 pillars of life at a level 10 by practicing what I teach about balance and alignment. Today, I am going to, before you can even get your life in alignment, we have got to get you out of burnout. So my question for the audience is, are you experiencing burnout right now, today? Have you ever experienced burnout? Well, the chances are likely that you have, because Indeed.com says that 75% of workers have experienced burnout and 25% are experiencing it right now. So that means pretty much 100% of people at one given time have experienced burnout. And let's define burnout. So burnout is a state of emotional, physical, or mental exhaustion caused by prolonged or repeated stress. And we all know that the number one cause of disease is stress. So nothing is more important than that we are not stressed. So I have come up with 3 simple ways to prevent burnout so we are not stressed, which leads to disease or dis-ease in the body. So the first thing I want to talk about today is saying no. It is so difficult for people to say no because we are taught in school to please the teacher by getting an A. We are taught to stand in line, not get out of line, make everyone happy, make our parents happy. we are really trained to be people pleasers, and disappointing someone can be just devastating. I remember listening to this woman speak, and she fought in the Israeli army, and she said it was easier to shoot someone in a war than say no to her husband. It is really, really challenging to say no. But I will tell you that putting boundaries around your precious assets, which are your time, your effort, your energy, and your money, that is going to prevent you from burnout. And I will tell you, no is a complete sentence. I teach my clients, don't jade. Jade stands for justify, argue, defend, or explain your no. You don't have to jade. You don't have to be apologetic and on the defensive. And I will tell you this, don't do anything out of fear, obligation, or guilt. I made that mistake last week with my mother. She is visiting me for a month in Los Angeles, and I showed up out of fear, obligation, and guilt, all three. And I showed up resentfully, and she felt that resentment. So when you show up out of fear, obligation, and guilt, you're not showing up in your highest self. You're not truly able to be of service, and you're not doing anyone any good. So if you feel you're doing something out of fear, obligation, or guilt, just say no. I will tell you to walk away from the heck maybes. If it's not a heck yes, it's a heck no. There's no such thing as a heck maybe. So life is short. Do what lights you up and show up in your highest self. That's my first point. The second point is delegation. So we all have a zone of genius. We have something that we are just naturally good at. We could do it blindfolded in our sleep. We love doing it. It gives us energy. And then we have things that we do that we're not very good at, that we have to watch 10 YouTube videos on how to do, that drain our energy, that are not very fun, that make us want to go to sleep or drink 10 cups of coffee. So I would say, don't do that. So there's the 3 Ds of delegation. The first one is do it. If you like it, if you're good at it, if it's fun, if it gives you energy, just do it and don't procrastinate it. Do it in the moment. The second that email comes, the second that text comes, that's a huge time management hack, is just do it in the moment. Because once you say, I'll get back to that email, get back to the text, it gets buried. The second D is delegate it. Find people who love doing what you don't like to do and let them do it and delegate it. And with different apps out there like Upwork and Fiverr and TaskRabbit, there's so many great people out there that will delegate, that you can delegate to for pennies on the dollar. And the third D is ditch it. Take it off your list. Take one thing off your to-do list today that is just, it's been on your to-do list forever. You don't want to do it. It's not going to get done. Just ditch it. And that's okay. You don't have to do everything every single day. The third hack I'm going to give you to prevent burnout is for time management. So there's something called the Pomodoro method. They did a scientific experiment that the human brain can focus for 25 minutes before it starts getting restless. So I encourage everyone to set a timer on your phone when you're working today. You do 25 minutes of concentrated work, and then you take a 5-minute mental health break. On your mental health break, you can scroll on social media, you can pet your dog, you can drink some coffee or tea, you can do whatever you want. You can stretch, you can walk outside and get some fresh air. But when you are working in this way, 25 minutes of concentrated work and 5 minutes of a break, you can get so much more done and you don't get tired. And the other thing is power hours. So one of the things I teach is to create a 6-figure side hustle. So that means do not necessarily quit your job, because you want to keep those insurance benefits. You don't want to get in survival mode. So create power hours around your side hustle and block those hours out on your calendar and have boundaries around those hours as if they were for a job. So have those power hours And if you can even do 5 hours a week, 1 hour a day designated to your side hustle, if you can do more, you'll even get to your goals faster. But have those designated power hours that you devote toward your business, your project, your side hustle. It's really important that we have boundaries around our time. To go back to my first part of being people pleasers, when we get that text, when we get that phone call, and it's during our power hour, especially if it's a dear friend or a family member, our natural inclination is going to be to stop everything that we're doing, pick up the phone, respond to the text. That's just our natural inclination. But I'm encouraging you guys to turn off the notifications, put your phone in a drawer in the other room, hide it from yourself if you're addicted to your phone like I am, and really give yourself that designated focus of the power hours. And before you know it, your power hours will turn into an incredible profit, which is the mission of this wonderful show today. I have 1 minute left. I wanted to talk for a minute about my free gift. I have an amazing guide for you guys. If you're not sure what your purpose is to turn into profit, I have a beautiful guide for you called the Magnetic and Meaningful Purpose Guide. And yes, Tanya is displaying it now. You can just go ahead and use that QR code to get it. And this will give you some very potent questions to make sure that you are on track with your purpose. Maybe you are looking to start a side hustle and have no idea what direction to go. I also am giving away 3 complimentary coaching calls this week. My schedule is very, very booked this week, but I am opening up 3 breakthrough calls for people to discuss maybe where they're stuck and not making enough profit, or I'm also giving away coaching calls to discuss where you'd like to go with your side hustle. So you can follow the Linktree link that I just dropped in the chat. I'm not sure if everyone can see it. Tanya and Michael can put that in the main chat, or Clara, their assistant. And I would love to just talk to you about maybe where you feel stuck as far as how your profitability is going, and if your life is on purpose with a purpose. Because when you are on purpose, you don't burn out, time and energy expand, and you get to have fun. So everyone, thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much, Tanya and Michael, for having me on this wonderful show.
Hey, thank you so much,
you,
Rebecca.
Fantastic information. I hope you guys are hearing these things that Peter George has brought to us and Rebecca Whitman has brought to us already. These are killer points on how to turn your purpose into profit, which is what everybody wants you to do. Okay.
Yeah. And if you missed the gift, we're going to show those again at the end as we're going through some of the Q&A. So you'll see that back up there again, just in case you didn't get a chance to scan it. And I think Claire is also going to post it into the comments for everybody as well. Yes. Rebecca, you're beautiful and amazing as always.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You see that beautiful, amazing angel all in one.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move ahead now. And Mark.
Last but definitely not
least. And he does sound very intelligent. Keep listening.
Yes, you will not be fooled. He is both sounds intelligent and is very intelligent.
That's right. So. We love you, Mark. Off you go.
You. All right, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you. Did make me laugh. I was just thinking about Rebecca and saying that, people have an attention span of 25 minutes. I was like, well, that doesn't really work for me since I'm the third speaker. So you guys, I'm sorry, I'm already encroaching on your 5-minute break. But I hope that the next 10 minutes or so will be something that just brings some enlightenment and brings not fluff, but something really tangible. I'm really in the business at really helping people understand why they're here. And for me, I think when I share my 3 points, it's very much about taking it right back. We're talking about purpose into profit, but how well do we know ourselves? And it's so important that I think that we have to have the realization that none of us escapes ourselves. We are with ourselves 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So our relationship with ourselves, for me, is the most critical and most important attribute that we have with regards to our own discovery. Before we can help anybody, we have to help ourselves. Before we can relate to anybody, we have to relate to self. And so for me, the first point of knowing self is really where it's at. When I look at the success of the people that I've interviewed, and I've interviewed over 5,000 people, thought leaders, creatives, those people who have achieved greatness, whether it's Jack Canfield or Vision from Mind Valley or Danny Morrell or Marissa Peer or whoever it is that I've had the honor and privilege to engage with, when I've looked at their life, I've noticed that 80% of their success is based on their internal dialogue. It's based on how well they've been able to relate to self and work through self. And 20% is on strategy. And sometimes, we can find ourselves in a situation where we're thinking we've been done all the seminars, we've read all the books, and we're wondering, why are we not delivering or getting the traction that we want in our business? And for me, it's because we don't know ourselves. When I was listening to Peter and he's talking about it's about the audience, it absolutely is. But in order for us to attract the people that we want to do business with, that we want to do life with, we have to speak their language. And the only way we can speak their language is by starting with understanding our own. Our relationship with ourself is absolutely paramount to knowing self. It's the things that you say in your everyday. It's the conversations. It's the narrative. How and what are you saying? I often think that relationally, there's a lot of lonely people out there. And sometimes I think we all feel loneliness. And, we constantly are looking for somebody to take us out for dinner. Or maybe we are just wanting somebody to write us a letter or send us a quote or check in on us. But I found that until we're able to actually take ourselves out for dinner, until we're able to write a letter to ourselves, I think that we'll constantly be looking for somebody else to soothe us where we should be soothing ourselves. So for me, knowing yourself is really, really key when it comes to purpose into profit. And you know yourself by taking time. You honor yourself. You sit with self. You take time every day just to feel and to see and to know, what are you feeling? What is concerning you? Your ability to know self is really the most important thing, I think, when it comes to us doing anything. It's so, so important. That kind of really leads on to energy. For me, everything is about energy. When I consider the people that I kind of really get excited by, the people that I love to be in their air and in their space, it's really their energy that I'm attracted to. There's that saying that says that your energy introduces you before you walk into the room. It's your vibration, it's your consciousness, it's your essence. And that really comes from that place of knowing. And that's why it's so, so important that we take the time to know self. You've got to know you. It's from that knowing that then the energy is able to really impact. And people say to me, Mark, the reason why I love being around you is because of your energy. And the reason my energy can be clear, the reason why my channel can be clear, is because I've taken time to hear and listen to myself. It's so, so critical. When I think about the last time I bought a car, I went to 4 different dealerships and they all sold the same car that I wanted. And actually, the person that I bought from wasn't he wasn't the cheapest. In fact, he was the second most expensive. And yet I bought from the man whose energy had the most congruence to the way that I like to conduct myself. It was him that I actually bought from, not because of the car. It's not the product. It's the actual delivery of the person that is selling or promoting or giving. And so your energy, if it's infectious, if it's intoxicating, it's through energy that we create the greatest impact on our life and on those around us. So it starts with knowing self. It then filters into your energy. And then those two combine, leave you into the impact, which is what we all want. We've all shown up today because we do what we do because we love it and because we're good at it. But we also all want to impact. We want people to be better than when they were before they knew us. Every interaction that I want somebody to be inspired, to be encouraged to take action. You know, we live in knowledge overload. There's so much knowledge, even today, but it means diddly squat unless you apply the knowledge that you're learning. And that's what I talk about, revelation. Revelation is so important when it comes to taking the knowledge, giving it a heartbeat, giving it an identity, and seeing it manifest in reality. We often get free of debt in our head before we see it manifest in reality. It's taking that journey of self, knowing self, of your energy, of what you're giving off. And it moves into the third point of your ability to storytell. Now, one of the things that I have a privilege of doing is giving people visibility. So when you know yourself, when you're in your energy, in your sweet spot, and you're actually impacting and driving and realizing that the way that you are showing up is actually having an impact on other people. It's your ability to storytell that is absolutely crucial when it comes to making an impact in this world. So for me, every day I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm creating content based on the things that I'm experiencing, the things that I'm going through. A lot of people don't know it, but a lot of the things that I actually speak about, I'm actually speaking to myself. They come from my own struggle, my own challenge, my own situation. And I think that's so important that in life that we become relatable. We're all human beings. We all have the same struggles. We all want to be liked. We all want to be loved. We all want to belong, but we have to belong to self first. We have to like self. We have to love self. Your ability to storytell, to have relevant content. Again, it goes back to Peter's information and knowledge of him saying it's all about the audience. But if you're talking about the things that we all experience day in, day out, they become relatable. People warm to you. I've had people say, Matt, every time you do a live, every time you create a piece of content, it's like you're speaking out of my own experience. And that's the key here, because we're all having a human experience. We're all in this together. There's no dress rehearsal. We've got to make sure that we completely and utterly are focused on our ability to storytell. I help people get visibility. I help people shine, whether it's on Entrepreneur, Success Magazine, whatever magazine. I host the Brains podcast. I really help people get their story out into the various opportunities that we find ourselves in. So just to recap, knowing self is absolutely vital if we're going to turn purpose into profit, because we have to know our purpose. And the only way we know our purpose is when we sit with self, when we have a relationship with self. The second part of that is just embrace and be bold in the person that you've become. Your energy is what attracts people to you, and it's your energy which is what's going to keep people hanging around. And thirdly, your ability to storytell. So whether you're on a live, whether you're creating written content, whether you're creating a visual, make sure that it embodies who you are, that it embodies your energy, and that it really helps liberate and be relatable. And these are the things for me that are really going to help turn purpose into profit. Thank you.
Mark, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I think you spoke to a lot of us with those things, and I agree 100% on it. Knowing yourself is very important to lining up your purpose, and of course, energy is everything. And in your ability to relate to those people, and I especially like what you said about buying the car. You bought from the person, and if people are out there, if there's just one listener that's going to hear this, there's people out there that you fit that. That's exactly what they need, is what you have, the purpose that you are bringing to that. And so keep that in mind, and your ability to share that with them is everything that makes that attractor factor. So thank you, Mark, as always.
Awesome. Thank you. And we'll come back and pull everybody up on at the end here. If you guys have cues for us, if you have questions for us, make sure to drop in the question and who that question is for, and we'll come back at the end and answer them. Thank you again, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, now it has come time for us to share our top 3 tips on turning your purpose into profit. So I'm going to take the first one, and it is called Bring Clarity to Your Purpose. This is not going to surprise you guys because we are a personal branding company, but this is where it all begins, guys. So the first thing we want to talk to you about is, if you don't take anything else from what we teach today, please jot down these 5 critical questions that are the foundation of every solid brand. Those of you who have seen us speak before, hopefully you may be able to recite it with a sing along. Okay, right? Exactly. Who do you serve? How do you serve them? What qualifies you to serve them? How does it make their life better? And what makes you different from everyone else who's also trying to serve those same people? Okay, that's really critical right now. So let's look at why this is so important. We're podcasters ourselves, and everybody on here is a podcaster. Last year, there were over 3.5 million podcasts, 2023, and anywhere between 56 million and 90 million podcast guest appearances. Now, why the big discrepancy? Well, this source is Listen Notes, which is probably the premier analytics source for podcasting. And they really can't tell whether Michael and I have been on a podcast one time or we've been on that podcast 2 times. And so that's why the discrepancy. So let's take the lowest number, 56 million people you are competing against to get on podcasts, right? So right now it's easy to get on podcasts. What's not so easy is to get on the right podcast, okay? Unless your brand is super clear and you stand out from everybody else in your space. Remember what we say, it's not enough to be known for your profession. You must be known for being different in your profession. We know so many people who are really well known for what they do. In fact, tons of social media influencers, and yet they're not nearly as profitable as they should be. And some are not profitable at all. Why? Because their brand, their storytelling, right, does not showcase their purpose and differentiate them within their space. And here's why this works and how it works, right? Plain and simple, your brand's number one job is to precede you. Consider this statistic, and I think it's on the low end, by the way. 98% of people will actually meet your brand before they even meet you. Think about it. If you talk, face to face or even engage in conversation, that's what we're talking about. Whether you're going back and forth through email, you're answering DMs, you're on the phone, you're on a Zoom call, doesn't really matter. When you meet people, you can articulate who you serve and how you serve them, et cetera, pretty well, right? But compare the number of people you're actually able to engage with this week to the number of people who are exposed to your brand on all these different platforms. It's in the thousands, tens, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people that actually get to see your brand on all these different platforms. So then the question you have to ask yourself is your brand doing its job on the front end? Because if it isn't crystal clear on the front end, you won't even get the opportunity for the conversation. So it all begins right there with the brand. That's not going to surprise you guys. And the next 2, I want to preface here. So you're sitting there thinking, okay, but it costs money to do some of these things. It costs money to hire Peter to help me with my speaking. It costs money to hire Rebecca to help me gain focus in the abundance in my life. It costs money to hire Mark to help get me some visibility out there with my story. And so you would be right about that. Okay. So what these next 2 points are going to share with you guys is how you can achieve some of this even if you're not in that place of profitability yet, right? It's kind of like when you're in college and you want to get a credit card, but you can't get a credit card because you don't have any credit to your name, right? Figure all of that out, right? So you're sitting there thinking, okay, but my purpose is so strong. I believe this so much. Now, what if I don't have the funds to do it? And we're going to help you with these next 2 points to think about how you can at least get that supplemented in some way. So, all right. Now, number 2 is Michael.
All right. I get to take number 2. I like it when we do 3s because usually she does 2 and I get to do 1, which is awesome. So look, number 2 is great because you want to align with the right partners. Okay. Just like we're doing this collaboration with highly sought after professionals in their own spaces. This is the kind of thing that you want to do, right? Once your brand is dialed in, it becomes easier to get people to help you and spread the word about your brand. So you think about this, there's only one you, and you can only do so much. But if you have partners who are willing to promote you and help you, you could have 20, 30, 100 soldiers that are working for you in tandem, just the same as you are reciprocating with them. Okay. So look for partners. Partners are going to come in 4 types: promotional partners. We'll talk about that. Collaborative partners, affiliate partners, and referral partners. Okay. And you want to sort of compartmentalize these things. Now, all of the ones that when you start making your list of what these will be, all of them must have one thing in common with you, and that should be their ideal customer. If you've listened to us for a minute, you know that the ideal customer and the dial in for that is very important to building your brand. And you want to make sure that your partners also have that same ideal customer, because that's your base, right? And they need to have the ideal customer base to provide a totally different, but they need to provide a totally different product or service from you. Almost like, okay, you started with your brand. Now you need to go talk to Peter George, and you need to learn how to promote that to speak. You need to talk to Rebecca, and you need to learn how to make sure that you don't get burnout. You see what I'm talking about? Go talk to Mark, and then you learn how to get more exposure. You see how this is beginning to come to into focus for you. All right. So we're going to define each one of those partners here for you, but keep in mind that to the audience, this alignment must make sense. Okay. Promotional partners are people who will promote your products and your services because you're providing something their clients need. It's the next step, right? And it also gives them a good feeling to promote someone else and makes them look and feel good, okay? One of the things that we love about the Hounds is how these people support each other. And we can be a part of a community where we're supporting people and they are supporting us. Michael Asher Branner, I just want to give him another shout out, because this is the community he has created. And it's a loving community that really wants to feed each other and see people do good. You need to be a part of those kind of communities. And promotional partners. Now, collaborative partners, they can teach together, much like what we're doing here today, present offerings together, because their offerings are really closely aligned, but they're different. You're not stepping on each other's toes. For example, we did a collaboration with Michael Asher Branner a while back. It was just a couple of months ago, and we build personal brands, right? And he shows them how to promote their brand, and among other things that you can really help you with through his LinkedIn coaching. And he's one of the foremost LinkedIn coaches. You need to talk to him. But see how that collaborative partnership works good together, because it's a next natural step for you to utilize your brand. Now, affiliate partners promote each other's offerings, and most of the time they make a commission from this. Again, we're all in this business to make profit. That's not a bad word, right? And these can be very, very powerful because it can create very win-win situations monetarily. The client pays the same price for the offer, and sometimes they can get it as a discount because they came through that affiliate partner. We can talk about that later. And the partner it actually gives up a part of their profit to that affiliate who is helping them promote it. Maybe they have a big outreach. Maybe they have a big social media following. They have worked hard to build that following. They should profit from that following. If they have your ideal customer, they become really good affiliate partners. You give up some of your profit to them for the outreach they have already built. It's a win-win for everybody. Now, referral partners sort of work the same way. They're very similar, but they may not have an official affiliate offering, right? They may just align with certain people that they can trust you will take care of their client, right? So they've got their client in mind. They're like, you know what? My client needs a brand. My client is successful in this way, but they need clarity, and they can come to BrandFace and they can learn that focus and that clarity and that messaging, right? There's nothing actually set up about it. It's just an agreement between each of you. And yes, you would give them a referral fee for helping bring in that client that needs your service. Everybody wins, profit is shared. Everybody, the client gets what they need. They don't pay any more for it. It works out beautifully, right? The most important thing that these people have in common, though, and you have to watch this in the wild, wild world of the internet, is respect and trust. It's very important. So if you don't have the funds to market your business, or you simply want to grow much faster and align with someone who already has your audience and work with them as a partner and grow together, enter it into it as one of these partner designations, and you're going to see an exponential growth in your company.
All right. Now, number 3 is you're not going to expect this one, actually, I don't think. I've actually had this conversation 3 times in the last week. And we know, when things converge like this, it's kind of meant to be, right? It's very purposeful. This one is find someone to sponsor your dream. Okay, think about this for a minute. Let's say you're in a spot right now where we talked about earlier, you can't really invest in building a brand or getting on stages or podcasts or getting media placement or hiring a coach to help you achieve that abundance that you deserve. Now what, right? Well, if you can clearly articulate your purpose and share a plan of action. In other words, you can say to somebody in your life, whether it's something a personal friend or another business. And I'll give you one great example. We had a real estate professional come in, and she had a mortgage partner that she sent a lot of her real estate deals to. That mortgage partner paid for half of her tuition in BrandFace, and she was able to build her brand. And so these are the kind of things I'm talking about. Find somebody that you can help also, that aligns with you, somebody you can send business to, and see if they're interested in sponsoring you through this. I had this conversation also with a gentleman who is a coach, and he is in recovery, alcoholism and addiction recovery. And I said, there are a lot of people out there who are prominent business owners in your area that are also going through recovery. They're recovering addicts, and they would love to promote you going on stages and talking about this, because it's such a big personal part of their life and something that they've overcome. And maybe you can work together on that. Maybe they would sponsor you to do a regional speaking tour, or to sponsor certain people through your coaching program to coach them through that recovery process. And so that's just one of the conversations that I had last week. So I want you to just kind of think out of the box sometimes when you need to take a step to build your business and to make that business profitable. Think about other people that can help prop you up and help get you there, whether it's monetarily or going back to the align with your right partners concept as well. But
it could also be somebody that you have already helped. We talk to a lot of coaches, and they're like, well, I've been coaching for a year. I've been coaching for 2 years, and I've helped a lot of people, but I haven't made any money yet. Well, maybe those people that you have helped would be willing to come together and collectively help you to make the next step because you've helped them, right? And that's considering resources that you already have in your toolkit that maybe you haven't thought about yet.
Absolutely. Okay. Now that's our 3, guys. So just to recap those, we've got number 1, bring clarity to your purpose. 2, align with the right partners. And 3, find someone to sponsor your dream. So I'm hoping between all of us today that you have gotten some really good nuggets of wisdom to help you take your purpose that you dream about every day and really make profit with it. Because when you make it, guess what? You're able to help a whole lot more people. So I'm going to bring everybody back up on stage right now. I want to give a hand to our illustrious speakers. You guys are fantastic.
Guys. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Okay, so I'm going to also pop up here the free gifts, and I'm just kind of rotate them here for a minute so you can snap codes on these if you would like to. But our speakers have some gifts for you here today. And let's see if anybody has any questions while we're doing this.
I want to do a shout out to Terry Killian. Hey, Terry, we met her in Israel on our Israel trip.
Hi, Terry.
So good to see you on here. Thank you for supporting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, a huge thank you to the Hounds of Business community for sponsoring
Yes,
this
thank you,
event.
Mr.
You guys are incredible, and a lot of hounds here today. You all
Bunch
dropped
of hounds.
Yeah, we see the word hounds just sprinkled through everything. So some final thoughts from each of the speakers before we go out of here, or before we have any other questions. I'm going to start with ladies first. Rebecca, your final thoughts for today and what you have heard from the other speakers on the panel.
Yeah, well, I am so just amazed at what I heard. You guys have brought so much value. And what I took away from both of you guys is being bold, getting out there, sharing your story. When you share your story, people will like, know, and trust you, and they'll feel comfortable doing business with you. And with Tanya and Michael, the takeaway was all about collaboration. And I really believe in collaboration over competition.
Love it.
There's plenty of sand at the beach. You don't have to worry if somebody's got more sand than you. And
Agreed.
I would just end with having an abundance rather than a scarcity mentality. I am the magnetic abundance mentor. And when you think there's more than enough of whatever you want, whether that's money, energy, time, collaboration, then you are in abundance mode. So switch from scarcity to abundance today, and just know that there's more than enough out there of whatever you want.
I love it. I love it.
So true.
And Peter, you're up next, but there's actually a question for you from John Paul. And hi, John Paul. You and I have had a chance to chat before. He says, unconscious communication is foreign language to me. Any basic tips? I feel your pain, John Paul.
Unconscious. Some people say subconscious, and that's not correct. The unconscious communication is what we do that other people see and they absorb without even realizing it. And that's why the unconscious level. We do unconscious things all day long. We breathe. I could ask you how many times you inhaled today. You have no idea. It's done unconsciously. We raise and lower our eyebrows all throughout communication. You have no idea you're doing it. Other people aren't perceiving that you're raising and lowering your eyebrows consciously, but they are unconsciously. How you stand, the manner of talk, the different things other than the words that you're saying are generally what communicates on the unconscious level, body language and the like. That's just as important as the words you choose and how you say those words to people. Most people, when they get up and speak, forget all about that side of communication, yet it's just as important.
Agreed. Yes.
Absolutely. Hey, that should answer your question, John Paul. Thank you so much for the question. And just a quick shout out here. Peter, want to tell them a little bit about this gift that you're offering?
Yeah, if you follow that QR code, you'll go to my site and you'll be able to download. You'll go right to the page, download my book. It'll be in PDF form, but you can download the entire book.
That's huge. Thank you
That
so
is a
much for
huge
giving
gift.
that.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And now, Mark.
Well, like I was saying, one of my points was about energy. You can really tell, like with the hounds and with this group, you know, the support, the dialogue, the engagement, it all derives from energy. We attract who we are. I find it really interesting. I love what Rebecca said about there's no such thing as a heck maybe. That was something that really, that really stood out. I enjoyed that. With Peter, I really vibe with, you know, audience. When you've been in media for as long as I have, you realize that it isn't about me and it isn't even about the guest. It's actually about the listener. It's the consumer. So right on the money with that one, because for me, that's why we're all here. You know, when it comes to, you know, wanting to work with others, we have to work on ourselves. And I honestly believe that the path that we all take, because we all take our own path, it's not just for our own enlightenment and our own growth, but our ability and desire to really embrace that is what really gives us credence and purpose to help those that are going to follow on the same path. That's typically why we all do what we do, because we've gone through the different knocks, the setbacks, finding out what doesn't work, what doesn't really resonate. And we've been in that own journey. And this is why I was talking about the importance of knowing self, because until you meet you won't be able to meet anybody else. And all these different flavors and expressions that we've all collectively shared about purpose and turn it into profit, it all derives from how well we know self. And we're all expressing that. We're all doing what we do because it's about knowing what is true to ourselves. And then people are attracted to that. You know, you want to be attracted to the people that you do business with. There's 1,000 coaches, there's 1,000 and million speakers, there's people doing branding, there's people that do podcasts, there's people that write articles. Why are they going to choose you? It's because of your essence, your energy, your knowing, your heart to serve, your desire to just be able to just meet people where they're at. It's that. And as somebody said, you know, we're all individual, we're all ourselves. There's only one of each of us, and we all need to make sure that we're serving and sharing from our heart of consciousness and just that beautiful energy where it comes from knowing self. So it was really good. I loved it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those words. And I love what you said about, you know, we're individual, of course, but we all have the exact same fears, wants, desires. We're all human. We're all part of the human plight. And that's really what makes community such a great thing. You know, I got to say this. I'm compelled to say it. I was a big West Wing fan. I don't know if some of y'all won't be old enough to remember West Wing. Some of you do, right? Especially the early years. And there was a story that was told at one time. So I'm going to steal it. All right. I'm giving it a little credence about where I got it from, but I loved it. It stuck with me all these years, right? There's a guy stuck in a hole. And he's yelling. He can't get out. He tries to get out. He can't get out. He's climbing on the walls. He can't get high enough to get out of the hole. And he starts screaming, "I need help." And a priest comes by and he's like, what do you need? And he goes, "I need help. I need out of this hole." And so the priest writes him a prayer and drops it down in the hole. And so he can't even read it. It's dark. He's like, "What is this? I still can't get out of this hole. I just need to get out of this hole." And so he keeps yelling. And then a psychiatrist comes by and he's like, "What do you need, man?" And he goes, "Well, I need out of this hole. I'm stuck in this hole. I can't see which way to go. I'm running around in circles. I can't climb the walls. How am I going to get out of here?" So he writes him a prescription. He drops it down in the hole. And he's like, "I can't even read this. I don't even know what this is. It's not going to help me." So he keeps screaming. He keeps screaming. And finally, his friend comes up and he's like, "Hey, what do you need?" And he goes, "I need out of this hole. I can't see which way I'm going. I'm totally blind. I don't know what to do." And the next thing you know, he feels this guy land at the ground beside him. And he's like, "What are you doing? You just jumped in the hole I told you I couldn't get out of." And his friend said, "Nah, don't worry. I've already been here and I know the way out." Mm-hmm. That's what we are hoping that you guys take from what we're giving to you today. Mm-hmm. But many of these coaches, they're living life that they have already moved the places that you want to go. So we really encourage you to take advantage of these offerings and take advantage of these people, connect with these people, join the Hounds, because these are groups of people that are here to help you get to the next spot you want to go to.
Wow. I can't end that any better. Except I love you guys. You are amazing. There's a reason why you're in our lives, and I appreciate you. And to all of you who took time out of your day today to attend when you could have been so many other places, we love you for it, and thank you so very much. And if you have any questions, hey, you know where to find us. Hit us up on LinkedIn, DM us from anywhere, okay? Where you can find us. If you can't find us, we're not doing our job very well. Thank you guys so much. And what pros? We end it at 12:03. You're amazing.
Love it.
Thanks,
Thank
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And thanks again to Hounds.
Thanks, Hounds.
Thank you, Hounds.
Oh.